Conversation you can share forward. It's what we do on arrow.net, ARROE.net. We are unplugged and totally uncut with Elode Young.
Arrow.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Is it Elode? What's your name?
It is. It's Arrow. It's one of those names that came to me, I would say, probably the early part of 1981, where it was like I didn't want to go on the air as me. Like in acting, I wanted to go on the air as an actor. I wanted to be able to fit into a place of performance. So you get it, don't you?
So I do, but I kept my own name because I was like, I don't have any other idea for a stage name, but I like yours.
Well, I'll tell you what. How do you pronounce your name? Because you know what we're doing on this side of the flat screen. We watched that premiere last night on Fox. But how do you say it?
So I say it Elode Young.
Mm-hmm.
One says Young in America and in England, but really it's Young.
Now, Jung, that reminds me of Taekwondo, which is Korean based. Are you Korean?
Oh. No. Do you practice Taekwondo?
Oh, it is my life. I walk the black belt path every day.
Oh, man. Congratulations. No, so it's not Korean. My dad is Cambodian.
Okay. But this
is Cambodian.
You also study the path of karate, which I started out in combat karate.
I'm a black belt.
Oh, so we know the path then, don't we?
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, you guys have more of legs than we do. It's like we're more combined, punches and legs, but you guys have like extremely, I don't know what you say, versatile kicks, and it's quite impressive, Taekwondo.
Well, the way that we, I think one of the hardcore things about it is when I moved from karate to Taekwondo, people said, what you just did was you went to a sport. And I went, no, Taekwondo isn't a sport, it's a sport. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll accept it as that. But yeah, my deep roots, though, are in the karate.
Aha. And which type of karate? It was
combat karate, which meant I had to get on the inside, do my damage, and get out and make sure that fight was over as quickly as possible.
Okay. All right. So I practiced Shotokan style, and I was more on the kata side. Like I did a lot of competition, but not fight, but just technique kata,
Oh yeah, because
this is what I did growing up.
I came out with 3 broken ribs, and it's like maybe I'm not where I need to be.
Oh wow, yes, yeah, no, that's rough.
So now, for you to become a part of the Cleaning Lady on Fox, first of all, you are a storyteller. When this concluded last night, I wanted to go to the next episode, but I can't because I was watching it on real television.
Yeah, I'm so glad you say that. This is what I care the most, the story. I want to tell the story, with the heart, like the right way, which I think is from the guts. And so, yeah, so it's on TV. So I guess if you watch it on TV, you have to wait for the next week, next Monday. I think it's every Monday. And I'm not sure, don't quote me on this because I don't have it. So I'm not sure what the schedule is. But I'm sure it's on other platforms. I'm sure you can stream it on Hulu or something else. But maybe you can't watch all episodes. I mean, I think it's... Yeah, sorry.
I was just going to say, I think what I love most about it was the anticipation of that. I know that it was going to start at 10 o'clock. And so therefore, I built my night around knowing that episode was going to be there. And it's been a long time since I've done something like that.
Oh, yes. It kind of like... It's a bit of a... kind of a vintage way to watch things now, because we are all like, watching a whole series in one night, and I do that sometimes, although I don't have much stamina right now at nighttime because I have a 3-year-old, and at 8 I'm just so happy to be in bed and sleep by 9 o'clock. But I did like you, like I did enjoy the when I had a TV, I enjoyed the build-up of like, okay, I'm going to have a TV TV night and have my food ready on my laps and then just like, munching on things, watching my favorite show. It's kind of cool. Yeah. And it's homey. And then these days we're a lot at home. So it's kind of a nice way to spend the evening.
Well, it's a conversation piece, The Cleaning Lady, because I that's the first thing I did last night after watching it was I got onto Facebook and started talking, and people going, I just watched it too, and all of a sudden people start talking about the episodes.
Okay. What were they saying? I'm curious.
Well, what they love about it is, first of all, how calm you are in this movie in this TV show that really, there's so much going on around it, but you walk in peace. I mean, you're just so calm.
Yes, it's so interesting. Let me tell you something. When we ended up filming, I started to do my interviews, the EPK and etc., and meet journalists. And I had this woman asking me, she was telling me, she was like, there is something that struck me about this part is the resilience, the resilience of your character, Elodie. And this is where things became conscious to me at that moment in this interview, and I was like starting to unfold it 10 episodes later and started to look at it, and I said, yeah, it's I think it's okay. Yeah, she is resilient, and this comes from my dad, and I started bursting into tears. I'm like, what the heck is happening? I don't know. I'm tired, but really, this is this calmness that he's always carried with him. And I never overthink my parts, and I don't like to intellectualize things. I just want to do as I know in my gut. And this is what I know in my gut, this calm resilience and calm strength that he, as an immigrant, this man who's Cambodian had to move to France, this man who's lost 10 people in his life, he had to go through life and still goes through life very calmly and happily. Tony is not that happy, in this first season, but there is this thing that I've witnessed and known my whole life. It's like, you have to stay steady because life throws things at you, and this is exactly what this show's doing. It's just obstacle after obstacle that Tony has to go through, and things are moving fast around her. She's caught up in horrible situations, and she just needs to stay steady because she has to be strong for her kid and for her own sanity, and in order to go through things. And I think a lot of people would relate to that.
Well, like the explosion in the first episode, which listeners have got to check out, because it's amazing how that explosion takes place. And right away, I had to write it down. Did you see any of that, or is that all in post-production?
No. It was a real one. We were there.
God.
It was amazing. Oh yes, it was pretty cool. I was like, okay, it's the pilot. We're doing this. We're onto something pretty good here. No, we were all excited. And they did it very safely. We didn't have any problems, but it was a real explosion. They burst the thing like there are 2 explosions actually that were happening that night. And I don't know if you see, obviously we did it after with Aiden. Then after they blew the thing up. They put us on the ground and fire all around. But the stunts people that did that stunt that night, they are so close to the fire. It was just incredible. And it was very safe, and I'm all about safety with stunts because I just know so many stories. I have a lot of friends that are stunts, but everything was done properly. But it was incredible. It's really cool.
One of the things that I really took in, and it's such a compliment to you in the way that I would look at when somebody else was speaking, but my eyes would go back to your facial expressions. You are a facial actress as well, because I was wanting to know how you were going to react.
Oh, this is such. I've never heard that of facial. Well, I thank you. I guess it's like. You need to carry on living what you're living, even if it's not, your lines or if the camera focuses more on, for me, it's about the situation and what my character is going through. And even if she doesn't speak, even if she doesn't do anything per se, then she is internally going through a lot.
It's amazing how it's amazing how the way that you bring out the acting. One of the things that my sensei shared with me, he says, you remember that it's martial arts. And do you find that when you're acting that you're bringing out the art inside of you? Because the way, because it's the calm, the peace, the walk, the way, there's so much about your character in The Cleaning Lady that it's like, oh my God, she's been somewhere.
I do. You know, it took me so long to admit that I was an artist, and I do believe so. I believe that my art is to the art for me of acting is to not put myself in the way and make some space for my character in order for her to live and evolve and breathe and talk and walk and all of that. And it's just I do feel like my art is to meet her. I do feel like it's meeting my character and making giving her space to exist, and as well as me bringing my heart and my own knowledge of life to support her. This is how I see it. It's bizarre. Oh no, I don't know. This is how I see
it. You talk about the support and stuff like that. I love the way that the storyline puts in your personal life with your son on the show, who has his own challenges. That in itself is going to be a continuation. I'm here. That in itself is going to be a continuation of how this story grows.
Well, I'm glad, because this is the fight that this is the fight she's fighting, the life of her son. So. I mean, if people can relate to this and follow that, then this is great, because that's the story we're really telling in this first season. How is she going to save him? And she's giving it all. She's giving her soul, and herself every minute for this fight. So yeah, it's just I'm happy, if it felt real, because. That's our goal, really. Yeah.
Well, because what happens is that it showed not only the mother's side of this character who basically is doing stuff that the average person could not do out there to survive, and all of a sudden, you bring in this softer side of you, and you start thinking, wait a second, taking care of her son on the show is probably the hardest thing that she's doing in her life, not being the cleaning lady.
Yes, exactly. Oh, you mean Tony, when she doesn't have to work as a cleaning lady and
exactly.
Going back home that's her life. That's the fight of her life. And when her son got sick, that's kind of the background story. And it was earlier on in Luca's life. Then she had to give up her job as a surgeon in order to take care of her son full time. In sacrifice, it's a life of sacrifice, and I think a lot of parents can relate to that. Yeah. This is her life. This is the fight of her life, and I think, of course, she's going to do it, because this is her. He's her son. He's the love of her life. So she will do anything she can, anything in her power. To keep him alive.
And one of those, it fits perfectly into the scene. And a scene that really I still continue to carry with me is when you go to the party and you don't speak to anyone. And I'm thinking, I could never do that. I mean, the way that she goes into that room, and even though you're not saying anything, you still have this way of dominating the space.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were telling me that if you had seen all these people partying and beautiful women, of course you would have gone and talked to them. Yes, I would, as a person as well. But Tony is just like, I love this sequence, because it's like, and again, she is how do you say, she's moving into a new world, and it's like another door has opened, and then where am I now? What's going on? And she's just witnessing everything, and she's kind of in shock and mesmerized at the same time, and she's discovering this world. This is new to her, and quietly, watching it evolve and be in front of her eyes.
Are you going through the same thing in real life? Because is this not new to you, being on television every week on Fox?
I don't have TV. I don't have it, so I'm not going to be witnessing anything. But Yeah, no, and it's I'm a bit out of it. Like right now, as I speak to you, I'm in my little teardrop caravan trailer, and I'm just like having a chat with my gloves on. I'm in a sleeping bag. I'm not like really watching myself on TV. I'm just being myself. We're talking to you, which is in my pajamas and in a sleeping bag, because I live in a tiny house, and my mom and my sister are here visiting from France at the moment, which is great because I haven't seen them in 2 years. But in order to promote, this wonderful show I'm on, I just need to like get out of it. They kicked me out, and so I'm in my trailer. But I will watch the episodes because I do appreciate everyone's work. And it's just not about it's not just about me. It's really about, this show is about, like, it's a team effort, truly. And it's about this showrunner, the writers, the producers behind it, and obviously the wonderful actors that I've had the chance to work with. Beautiful partners. So I'm going to ask them to send me a link, and then I'm going to watch it. So because I'm so excited, it's good to do, but then I want to see the results. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Absolutely. You've got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you so much.
Well, you enjoy talking with everybody today because everybody's going to ask you questions, and there's a journey that's begun here, and we're all going to be a part of that path.
Oh, I'm so glad. This is what I'm excited the most, to share it and then just to talk about it, because I do think that I don't know. I think it's going to tap in people's empathy. I'm hoping, if we've done our job right.
Yep.
And yeah, I hope people will care for those people portrayed on the show. That's my wish. So thank you for the invite. I'll gladly come back.
You be brilliant today, okay?
Thank you. You too.